This week we'll be diving into a simple 1-2 chord progression as a backing loop and a G major scale shape that you can utilize to create your own awesome lead lines and guitar solos. This is about as basic as a chord progression can get, so it'll allow players at any level to inject their own style and personality into the lead parts. So if you feel like you'll benefit from trying to rip into a really fast and advanced guitar solo, by all means you can go for it. And then if you feel like it's going to be more beneficial to take it easy and just hit a few notes at a time, that's also going to be really valuable here. And really quick, if you find these How to Jam lessons helpful, leave a comment with any songs or progressions that you'd like to solo over, and we'll do our best to make it into a lesson as fast as we can. And of course, subscribe to the channel to stay up on each day's easy guitar practice. All right, let's start by taking a look at the backing loop that we're going to be laying down today. I recommend taking a screenshot when we flash the tabs. That way you'll have them pulled up and ready to go as we move through the lesson. As you can see, I went with bar chords, but you can absolutely utilize the more basic open G and A minor chord shapes that we commonly learn at the beginning of our guitar playing journey. Let's now take a look at the G major scale shape that I'd like us to focus on today. This is a really standard and classic major scale shape, so I obviously always have to remind everyone that if you take this shape and move it up or down the neck, you'll be changing the key that you're playing in. So while it might feel like you're only learning how to jam and solo in this specific context, you're actually gaining insight into a lot of other jam scenarios. So for example, a really simple scenario would be you're in a jam, you're not sure what key you're in, you turn to the person next to you, they say, hey, we're in A major. You know at some point they're gonna look at you and you're gonna hit your lead line. Well, guess what? You can take this scale shape, move it up 2 frets, and now you've got somewhere to start in the key of A major. Okay, let's get this loop going and see where we take things. Now, even though I laid down the backing, it's never a bad idea to start by just listening. And without going too deep into the practice of listening, ultimately this is just going to get you the most familiar in the context in which we're jamming. Right, so we just restarted, we're on the G major, A minor, just good to be familiar with those changes. We stay on the A minor here, and we're about to go back to G major. Okay, cool, we know that, we're familiar with the backing loop. The best place to start with regards to just laying down any sort of lead part would be to play through the scale in sync, in rhythm with the loop, with the backing track, with the jam, with the groove, etc., etc. So I'm going to go through the scale shape at a speed that feels comfortable for me based on the backing track, but ultimately you can adjust this to go at any speed that feels most comfortable to you, most valuable to you. Anyways, I'll jump right in so you can see what I'm talking about. So that's about as stiff as you can get with regards to laying down a lead line. However, I've now gotten more familiar with the scale shape, and although it might not have sounded great on top of the loop, that wasn't really the point of hitting the very bland, basic scale shape. It's just to get the notes under my finger and to be playing at a tempo that syncs up with the rhythm. Now you can go even slower and just hit one note at a time and let it ring out. That's still moving through the scale shape, except I just focused on 2 notes. So again, you can adjust this based on your skill level. I will say before I go any further, we have a lesson that's on gospel chords, which are all played in G and A minor. So if you take a look at that lesson, and I will flash it in one of these corners, but if you look at that lesson, you'll actually have access to more lead opportunities because it'll take you outside of this scale shape. So anyways, that'll be linked somewhere if it hasn't already, and you can take a look at that for some additional flavors to have access to. Okay, so once we go through the basic scale shape, now it's time to just start adding some flavor, right? Sliding into the first note of the scale would still be adding some flavor. Right? I only slid into that first note and then I kept the scale shape the same. So that's one way of adding some flavor. I can, like I did slowly, linger on one note, right? What does that sound like? Maybe not the coolest flavor, maybe not where I want to start a solo, but just getting me more and more familiar, more and more comfortable. The next spot where my brain is going, and where it usually goes, and what I usually recommend is just coming up with a small phrase. I will note that this isn't my go-to scale shape to rip out a solo. This is a great learning opportunity for me. This is a great way to access more flavors, more styles. So this is how I'm really thinking about it. I just want to go through this linearly and come up with some notes that I think sound pretty good, and then I'll go from there. Okay, still not great. Still bland, but I'm working towards it. Arpeggio action there. That's just while I'm getting more and more familiar, see where I want to take things. Remember, I'm looking at this, as I'm filming it, this is really a warm-up for me, right? Let me just, start playing, get some notes under my fingers, make sure that I'm feeling confident with my rhythm for the day, where I'm at as far as being a guitar player for the day, where my creativity might take me. So anyways, I'm just lingering in those upper notes. Okay, I just went out of the scale shape. Forgive me for that slide up. Right, that's where my brain wants to take me, but that's what's so nice about coming up with a shape and a loop and saying, I'm going to stick there and try to get as creative as I can with that shape, with that loop. So I like a slide. I'm just coming up with this right now. Okay, this is just talking through it for a minute. Okay, I know that as I was playing through this, yeah, I'm gonna like that. That's a pretty standard lick for me. It might be for you as well. And this is a great practice for reminding you that when you linger on a note, when you just throw in a few notes, you're not trying to go all over the neck, you're not trying to jam in too many notes, it sounds great. That's a great way to start playing melodically. So that's a small phrase. Find those small phrases for yourself as you're getting in the groove. So that's a small phrase. What's another small phrase I can come up with? That wasn't a small phrase, that was more of a scale, right? Scalar approach. That was just really the scale shape. Let's come up with a small phrase using those higher notes. Okay, so now I've got these two small phrases. This is really just where I'm at today. This is what my brain's coming up with today. I always want to start with a scale shape. I always want to mess with some small phrases, but today I'm thinking, let's get one small phrase, let's get another small phrase, let me piece them together in some way, and then ultimately I can, get in that rhythm of creating a longer piece, longer line, almost, scratching the surface of a true solo. And then you can start getting into noodling and going further and further and further. But let's mess around with those two kind of phrases I came up with. We're going to restart in a second. so I put them together. It's not the flashiest thing ever. It might not be my favorite solo that I've ever laid down, but I'm getting somewhere, right? And the whole point of laying down a basic loop and getting just comfortable with that rhythm, with being in that groove, is so that you can recognize when you're actually in that real world jam scenario, there's no pressure. If you just hit one note that lines up, you just bought yourself some time. Right? So as I'm lingering and waiting for those notes to ring out, I can be thinking about, hey, what are some other phrases I can mess with? And I just want to note, I've only been using one octave of this scale. Don't feel like you need to be running all over the neck to sound good. That's not the case with guitar. I always reference or refer to Stevie Ray Vaughan because he's somebody who just takes this one basic pentatonic shape and just hammers it. That's not to say he doesn't get outside of it, but that's his go-to. And if you open up, this is kind of the thing I'll leave you with, if you open up all these strings, you'll have that pentatonic shape, right? If you just use that as an example or an extension of the shape that we're in. So I'm using that open string. And now you've got this pentatonic shape that you can play around with. I think I'm gonna leave it there. Alright, so there's a lot to absorb in what we just covered, so definitely try to just focus on one or two things here to maximize the time you're utilizing. Like I said earlier, if you find these How to Jam lessons helpful, definitely leave a comment with a song or a progression that you'd like to learn to solo over or that you'd just like to learn to jam with, and we'll do our best to make it into a lesson. And of course, hit the subscribe button if you want to stay up on each day's easy guitar practice, and we'll see you next time.